Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me for this segment, we have Juha Kokkonen. He is CEO of Canatu. We're here to discuss market drivers in the semiconductor space and listing on Nasdaq First North Growth Market and how that will help to support Canatu's growth trajectory. Juha, it is great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
All right, you got it. And Canatu, it's a carbon nanomaterial developer that creates advanced carbon nanotubes for industry transforming products. Can you tell us more about your business, the genesis behind it, and how it got started?
Yeah, I think that we are fundamentally high-tech material company, and we are a deep tech company. And our roots are here in Finland in Aalto University, where they developed a kind of the totally new method of making carbon nanotubes. It's called dry deposition method. And based on that one, we can make the most advanced carbon nanotubes in this world. And basically, you have two different types of carbon nanotube companies. You have the companies who are making the bulk of them, like there are like LG Chemical or C-Nano from China, where there's used for automotive industry, like batteries there. And then there are a company like Canatu who is making very, very sophisticated CNTs. And we are not making like tons of that material. We are doing like the sophisticated material less than 1 gram, 1 kilogram. So very little of that one. And that is used in highly kind of the advanced applications like in semiconductor applications where kind of the manufacturing process it's called EUV, extreme ultraviolet technology. And based on this technology, for example, NVIDIA's chips are done. So you need that technology to make 752 nanometer chips and the most advanced chips. And we are part of that manufacturing process, providing super sophisticated nanoscale filter that prevents that no particles gets into process, so that these NVIDIA chips are, as an example, are perfect, or Apple processors are perfect there. So we are part of this most advanced chip business. And on top of that one, we are working based on this material, for example, with ADAS technology, so advanced driving technology there, providing heating elements for those cars, most advanced cars, as well as we are developing technology for the medical diagnostics. So in a high level, we are the carbon nanotube company making super sophisticated, having the unique technology, having highly patented technology, so that the kind of barrier to get into that business is very high.
Earlier this fall, you listed on Nasdaq First North Growth Market after the combination with Lifeline SPAC. Why did you decide to take your company public, and how is this going to help to support the company with its growth timeline and trajectory?
Right. So I think that we were wondering and we were considering various opportunities there. Of course, there were options of having trade sale, so the company being acquired and sold. Then, of course, we could have continued as a private company. And then the third option was being a public company listed in Nasdaq. And as we are, like I mentioned, we are operating in multiple different businesses, like in Semiconductor, that is our biggest business, but also an automotive business, as well as then now developing the medical diagnostic business. So it was not that easy to find the kind of the company who would value all of these three businesses. There were companies who were super excited from Semiconductor side to kind of the Canatu, but they would not be that interested in these other businesses there. So when we were considering the options there, the kind of being the listed company was, in our opinion, the best option for this kind of the company who is developing and who has kind of multiple different businesses. And of course, this way, the another kind of great opportunity there was that we got a lot of investment money, like in this case, 100 million through this listing, so that enables us to further develop our portfolio, accelerate our development, and accelerate our growth. Our target is that our sales would be growing from last year's 13.6 million to this year we are giving the guidance between 20 and 25 million. And then being in 2027, the target is like 100 million. So the growth is very high. and it has been like over 100% over the last 4 years' time. We have been extremely kind of the profitable company from the gross margin perspective. So our gross margin has been growing to be over 70% last year. So from that perspective, being the listed company, there are the key benefits. One, we can be like a multi-industry company, getting great assets for future growth, as well as I think that from the employee perspective, as we are growing heavily here, it has been important to be recognized, getting more publicity through listing, and therefore also attract a lot of talents to the company.
Mm-hmm. And Juha, what advantages do you see in going public via a SPAC listing versus a traditional IPO?
I think that this SPAC, this Lifeline SPAC one, was quite a specific SPAC. So it's quite different compared to, for example, SPACs in USA. So one of the kind of the benefits what we got there was that first of all, there's a very strong founder and sponsor team that came through that one. And those founders and sponsors, they actually has to stay with the company now. So they have also 2 years lockup. So they cannot sell their shares during the next before next 2 years' time. So there's a very high interest by them to stay with the company and make this company profitable. And what was great with those founders and sponsors, they are like the very successful entrepreneurs in Finland, and they have been kind of the building the companies like unicorn companies like Volt, you may know that one, and then there's a company like Supercell or Aura, the kind of this ring company. So they are behind those companies, and they have been kind of providing successful recipes to make unicorns. So that is the kind of one value of this one going through SPAC. Of course, the second one, what was very different to US SPACs is that actually no single investor for this one used redemption right. So all the money that was collected, we got all the money there. And therefore, getting this 100 million money was of course a kind of the one key benefit here. And thirdly, we got very experienced, very kind of the good board members to the company that we do believe that will enable us to kind of accelerate the growth and getting the company to the next level. So that's a kind of the key benefits going through Lifeline SPAC. And then of course in general, the IPO market in this year and last year has not been very like the kind of the popular there. Options and the valuations have not been very high there. I think that through this SPAC, we believe that we got very decent valuation, where the company valuation is right now like 400 million euro.
All right. And in the last minute here, the semiconductor industry is Canatu's key growth area. What are the main market drivers, and what value does Canatu add to the EVU processes?
Yeah. So in the semiconductor market, especially semiconductor market in overall is growing heavily to be like $1,000 billion market by 2030. The high-end chips like NVIDIA or Apple or Intel Ultra processors, they are growing. This high-end market is growing even faster, so like the double of the speed as the kind of the industry in general. And where we are part of this one is this very advanced high-end chips, like 7 nanometer, 5 nanometer, 2 nanometer chips, where we provide the enablers to make very high yield processes, whether it's mask inspection, whether it's the making the wafers and chips as such, and that way we can enable the industry to be highly productive, and for that purpose, the CNT material is having very clear properties that no other material do have. So actually, it is very heat it can manage the very, very high heat. So it can work up to like 1500 Celsius. What is you have in the process is that you have a very high mechanical stress level there, like the G forces are over 30. And thirdly, you need to have a very high EUV transparency that you can get high productivity there. And all of these features can be delivered through this Canatu CNT material that is done based on these very specific patented wet processes. So therefore, we are the key enabler to enable Moore's law to continue, and so that the leading foundries and the players can make these chips very efficient manner with high yield as well as with high productivity.
All right, Juha, appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.